I polished most of it off, and I didn't get a huge amount of help from Colt's Arts, so he doesn't like.
Well, you had a great evening then, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, checked in.
You two boys, the Ball brothers with the hat tans. Is that why you're practicing with no hat on today?
Correct.
Even it out.
It's literally feeling right.
So frustrating.
It is actually helps quite a bit, eh?
Just goes from like red to white though in my head.
Yeah.
The best one for me. The best one for me was Claire's sister at the wedding, hairdresser, and we had it like literally had a lovely sweep going on. I was hanging on for dear life, but she made it look like I still had a head of hair. I said to Claire, "Do you want we with her or without her on the wedding photos?" With. Want you with her? So I kept this going. It's getting more and more into a comb over. Wedding pictures look great, looks fine. But then about 2 weeks later, I was playing somewhere, took the hat off, wind went the wrong way, and giving it one of them.
Oh, no.
And there's a photo of me shaking hands with a playing partner. My hair's back here somewhere, giving it one of these. I was like, nah, that's gone.
Yeah.
Those look way better with it.
Oh, I know, yeah. Look fine.
Yeah, it's obviously by choice we do this. Yeah,
Yeah, I've still got a full.
That's right. Very much.
Wait a minute.
Feel free to move out of the way.
No, that's fine. As long as you can hear me, that's fine. Yes, player. I'm going to try and keep these feet out of your face as well because these be minging right now.
You're right, mate.
That was my whiskey. That's a important bit.
Right, how's everyone going? I've kind of forgotten that we're here for a podcast. Everyone happy?
This one might not make the edit.
His belief in himself was so high because he hasn't got much talent.
I fell off his table and my knee has just gone like this.
That for me, it sent me on a bit of a spiral. To be honest with you.
I think if you're out here long enough, you're gonna have a low point.
It's all right, love. I've just cost us 50 grand. Don't worry about
exactly.
it.
I might as well had 50 beers the night before because I am absolutely myself. Mate, I'm really sorry about last Sunday night. I don't know what came over me. I'm so sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome to the Life on Tour podcast, courtesy of Buffalo Trace. We've got another couple of great guests joining us. It gets better and better here on the DP World Tour. Paul Waring, Andy Sullivan. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Pleasure to be here.
Is it?
I mean,
I feel a bit under pressure.
No, I mean, I'm just quite happy to be here and throw my mate under the bus.
Well, I was just about to say, because I know you as well as I do, I'm nervous because I don't know what's going to come out of your mouth. That's the bit that I feel a little bit under pressure, not going to lie.
Yeah. He's
That's how I feel all the time, neither do I.
Well, you know, we're honouring tradition, embracing change with you boys. I'm sure there's a few stories that we can tell. Traditionally, I'm sure you've got a lot of stories to tell, so we'll get into those slowly. But first and foremost, how's life on tour? How's the golf game? You're obviously here in Abu Dhabi, which is always a bloody good sign. So how's things been?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I've had a decent year, I suppose. Not as good as I'd like because Waring's 2 places above me in the order merit, which is just frustrating. So, but yeah, got a couple of events to try and turn that around. But no, it's been a good year. Been a solid year after a couple of very quiet ones.
Yeah, I don't know if you feel the same. I feel like I've actually played better than my position this year. I feel like I've had a lot of solid results, but not moved up the rankings at all. I feel like I've probably played the most solid and most consistent I have, but I haven't broken forward, if you know what I mean. Like turn those top 10s into top 5s has been kind of the major thing for me that I just haven't quite done. But like I say, if I'm staying 2 places above my shorter, younger brother next to me, it's
lots of battles within battles.
Oh, 100%. We're a nightmare for that anyway.
I mean, I cannot say the same thing now because I'm literally going to have to come back with I've either been shit or champagne this year. So it's either been one good or no good at all. So
And how's I guess, mental, physical strength? Because you guys have seriously big years, a lot of travel, a lot of golf, plenty of kilometres walked. How's the energy at this time of year?
Well, look, we're 2 specimens, absolute.
You've only had one sip of whiskey, mate.
One more than the other.
You're talking absolute rubbish.
Well, I mean, we're in prime physical shape right now. I'm approaching 40. Nice. It's coming to my peak. No, You know what? I feel all right. We've had a couple of weeks off. It's been okay. I haven't played that much, 25 events, something like that. How many have you played this year?
I've played a lot more. I think
Have
I've
you?
played like 29 events this year, which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
Consider I don't, sort of hope to play about 24, and then it's just sort of escalated.
Yeah.
Nothing better to do at home, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to spend
Well,
some time with mates.
do you guys sit out at the start of the year and go, right, here's my 20 to 24 or whatever, and you're like, bang, your whole year's kind of planned, or then you have to adjust, don't you, with form or whatever to see if you can play other events and get more points? Like, how planned is your entire year?
There's probably 5 events that go on a list straight away. I'm not going to name what they are, but there's probably 5 that go straight on. Yeah. We'll probably come to that later on in the podcast, to be fair.
Depends how much more of that we do.
Yeah. It is a lovely whiskey, by the way. Our sponsors are thrown over to us, by the way, I must say.
Thank you, yeah.
But no, for me personally, my whole season's pretty much done, barring probably 2 events. I'll just go, right, if I don't like playing more than 3 in a row. Yeah. So if it gets to a 4th, sometimes I might go, well, I might play or I might not. Just depending on how I feel, how everything's gone. Yeah. And then also, depending on what happens at the end of the year, whether you're battling for a card, top 70, top 50, chasing the PGA Tour card, you've got to be a little bit more flexible, I think. But
yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. I mean, like, me and Paul will call each other in November and go, right, what we playing in, lad? What we playing in, where we staying? And no, but in all honesty, it's like a similar thing sort of thing. You plan to play certain events, but you know, come sort of August, July time, whatever situation you're in, you might play a bit more or a bit less, you know. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. And I guess, is it like a 9 to 5 job? It gets repetitive. It can get boring. Your screen time. Like, is there any stages where golf is just a job and you're like, mate, I'm knackered. This sucks. Like, get me home.
Well, I don't know if you get this. When I was living back in the UK, especially, I'd have a week off and someone would be like, oh, you're not playing this week? Yeah. So, and I've just finished, 4 weeks in a row. Yeah. I was on a building site every day at your age. It's like, that's fine. That is fine. But every day, like, we're under pressure all the time to go and perform every single week. So it's like you can't have that, like, you can't have that passive week, can you? Every week you turn up, you've got to make sure that you believe and feel like you can go and win. Yeah. And you can't ever really turn up on the back foot, because if you are on the back foot, the standard, but in my opinion anyway, the standard now, it's just got better and better.
It has
how many years have you been out here for now?
So this is my 12th or 13th.
So I've played a few more as well.
Well, that's actually a good quiz question. Who's played the most DP World Tour?
Oh, hang on. This is actually really interesting, because I've been out here. This is my 17th year, finishing my 17th year on tour.
But because he's made of glass, he missed out a few.
Right. I had a couple of injuries, all right, and I don't tend to play a lot. But there was we actually having a look at the stats, weren't we, a few weeks ago?
Which is very unlikely.
Yeah, it's very unlikely. I don't know why we were looking at it, like, oh, where are you in this? Where are you in this? Because again, competitive between me and him, it's like, well, I want to be better than him at this. I want to be better than him at that. And then we looked at him and went, how many tournaments you played? How many tournaments you played? I played 300. How many you played? 300. Literally on the nose.
That was
absolutely.
this year. Somewhere this year as well, wasn't it? Like, it was mental.
Yeah.
Well,
I know. I already know. I think I've played a couple more.
Yeah.
Well, you played 29 this year.
That's
I played 24.
Well, he's now 4 ahead. So I've got here 335 to 331. So
I don't know if I should be proud of that or not. Really, do you know what I mean? Like,
well, I think like in most sports, more caps is better, more experience.
Yeah, but the trouble is, the more events we're playing, the more hair we're losing. So it's kind of be one of. Mind you saying that,
you can't
really lose too much more.
No. Whoa! We've said it before. This is a choice. Yeah, I just don't like my curly hair, so to shave it off. If I wanted to, I could have a really nice full.
You guys ever done Halloween together and like matched up? Because
what, Phil and Grant Mitchell?
What, us two at the bottom and Chris Wood behind us? That looked good, didn't
it? It's quite funny because I can see our manager BT in the corner there with the same haircut.
Yeah, runs in the family.
Absolutely.
Oh, nice. Well, I guess speaking of family, let's jot the memory books from when you boys first started. You guys didn't know each other until you came on tour, right?
No.
So let's learn a bit about your childhood briefly. Like, how did you, Sully? How did you get into the game? Like, where did it all start for you? The love of golf and.
Like most people, as like parents, and their first sport's always something else, and golf's always their secondary sport. My dad was a little bit older when he had me, and he was just coming into golf as I was about 6 or 7, and I started playing when I was about 9 and got into it, loved it, got half decent at it, and then found myself carving a career out here somehow, which is unbelievable. But just my dad really that got me into it more than anything else than anyone.
How did you know when you were like half decent? You're like, oh yeah, let's go here.
Literally, I
was just about to say, there's a problem in itself.
Yeah.
It's literally going, oh, I'm good at this. And then every like level you got to, you're like, wow, there's actually like just someone better than you every time sort of thing. You're always striving to get better. Like every level I got to is like, shit, I'm going to have to get better here.
So it's not that you're just crap at every other sport. It's like,
well, there's that as well.
Whoa, do not never challenge this man to a pub sports game. Pool, darts, do not go anywhere near
dominoes.
No. I can imagine that. Yeah.
Why could you imagine that?
Oh, that's no reason.
You've got to build for it.
Yeah. No, you're just naturally talented at all sorts of fields.
Correct, yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of kudos to have if you can go to a pub and shark someone for a jug.
Correct.
He plays people one-handed in pool. How does that work?
Okay,
figure it out.
That's noted for later on in the season.
I'm just glad you're telling everyone that now, because now,
well, I'm fed up of watching it.
Me hustling's just gone out the window.
You've cost him a few free drinks.
Good. Yeah. Deserves it.
And Paul, what about you, mate? Where did it all start for you?
I do remember on the Wirral, I actually remember watching the Open. I can't remember which Open it was. I remember watching the Open on TV and saying to my granddad, I want to go and try and have a go at that. Ooh. And he took me to Arrow Park Municipal Golf Club, and I had a little 9-hole pitch and putt. And I remember it because he got me a 9-iron and a putter. He knew the guy that used to obviously look after the kiosk, if you know what I mean, because my granddad used to go Crown Green bowling as well. So he knew the guys up there and all that.
I'm surprised he didn't play like croquet and things like that on the Wirral or polo, do you know what I mean?
Well, we're not that posh. So I remember it. Well, I tell you what, this is going to really throw the story on the bus now for you, Sullivan. Shut your... Because I still got the 9-iron because I robbed it. But no, so he gave me a 9-iron. He gave me a 9-iron and a putter. So I was 9 years old, I remember it. And we've gone and played 9-hole pitch and putt. And I remember getting the ball in the air. And that was the big thing for me. I pegged it up like I would a driver now. Hit this 9-iron and got the ball in the air like first or second go. That was me hooked, absolutely hooked. And I gave the putter back because I didn't like it, and I just kept the 9-iron and ran off with it. But same as Sul really. I then joined a golf club, played like club matches, was good at that, and played county golf, kind of got to the top of that level, England, GB&I. And every kind of level I got to, I kind of succeeded at that level. And then obviously got out here. It took me a long, long time to succeed and win out here, but that kind of kept me going and all that sort of thing along the way. So it is a bit annoying that he's won a lot more times than I have, and it's one of the things that he holds over me all the time.
I've just been a lot more luckier, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need luck to win.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a little bit of that, but you've got to put yourself on the mixer, don't you?
I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing. I had 4 years where he didn't play, so it was great. And I think in them 4 years, I probably did win them 4 events.
No, I remember it was in Joburg was your first win, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, because we all stayed in the house together.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Was me, you, your caddy, a couple of other lads. And we had one of these lodges in South Africa in Joburg. And we actually refer to it now as the Stag Do. Because it was just a load of lads in the house. It was good fun. It was just, we just had a great
match golf. Yeah.
Well, he's got one.
I do everything that I should do, but then like it's hard, isn't it? Because like it's a weird one for me because I was only sort of like at that point 2-3 years on tour, and in all honesty, like you don't know how long it's going to last. And I was just like, let's just let the good times roll here. Like, I'm just going to enjoy every minute of it. And, you know,
that's what
we did. Exactly. And it was just like, do you know what? No matter what, after every night, and with a good group of lads, you're like, let's just go and have a few drinks, enjoy ourselves, and, you know, end up winning that week. So it's great.
Well, that's the worrying thing, though, isn't it? He's gone and won in that situation. So that's now continued now for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
This is why we look a lot older than what we actually are.
Correct.
How hard is it? Like I know, like it's so hard to even get your tour card. How hard is it to win and get to that next level? Like, what are some of the tougher parts of becoming a pro golfer and getting to that level and trying to earn your ticket into the winner's circle?
He might have a different answer to this, but I think winning, especially now with the depth and the quality of players, I think winning's a bit of a different thing. I know that's really terrible adjective, a different thing, but to go and win these days, definitely need a little bit of luck along the way. I think it needs to be your week in certain aspects of your game. To have the longevity of career, I think you need an amount of consistency and obviously strong in certain areas of your game that kind of keeps you ticking along and giving yourself chances to win. But to physically go and win is, I genuinely think winning's really hard at any level, really. But he disproves my theory because he went and won 4 times in about 6 weeks or something stupid. Didn't he? You just got on that mad tear that year.
Yeah. So,
and you couldn't see anything else but winning.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard, don't get me wrong. And I think I was on a bit of a crest of a wave that year. And,
so that was 2015, 2016, because I remember you went 2015, your first win South Africa, and then bang again in Joburg.
And then won at the end of the year, Portugal.
Portugal. So it's like,
that Portugal win, by the way, you won by about 17 as well.
It wasn't that many.
Okay, 16.
It wasn't that many. So anyway, I know.
Stop it, but keep going.
Anyway, yeah, just keep.
Tell me how good I am.
I am going to feel fucking great tomorrow at the golf course. My ego's get a proper massage.
So I can have some more of this whiskey because it's lovely.
Well, yeah.
But no, again, I
do.
do sentiment what Paul's saying in terms of like, it is super difficult to win at it. And it's got harder and harder as the years have gone on. And whether that's, I don't know if the standards got better or we've dropped off a bit, I don't know. But like, it has definitely become that. I think the hardest thing is getting yourself in the mixer more now. I found that. Like the times when you get in there, like before when we first come out, I wouldn't say the kids that were coming up were scared to win. But now it just seems like a production line of kids that come out here and they're just completely fearless. And they're like, straight at it, bang.
I think that's given us, me and you, a bit of a kick up the arse. Like you say, I'm nearly 40, you're late 30s now. It's kind of made, especially me and you, turn around and go, right, come on. And I know we mess around and we've probably got a bit of a reputation on tour as the lads who go and have a bit of fun and all that sort of thing. But we're still first on the practice ground in most weeks. I'm always booking the 2 balls early at sort of 7:30, 8 o'clock in the practice rounds. And like some lads, they will turn around and go, I haven't seen Waring this week. Well, you won't because I'm actually here really early and I get done and then we leave. And then we might have a bit of time around the pool or something like that. But definitely, I think, well, I am certainly in these last 3 years more driven now than I ever have been. I think it's kind of finally clicked that I can compete, I can play, I can hopefully go and win again. And that's kind of like driving me forward to go and do that again. Because I've said this before, there's nothing like winning. The feeling when you win, there's nothing like it on this planet. It's the best feeling afterwards. And I don't know about you, but if someone said to me after you've gone and won somewhere, we're going out, we're going to go and have a bit of a night out to celebrate, I'd be I'm going to bed. Absolutely shattered. It takes so much out of you mentally. And
it's like years and years of work, and then you're like,
yeah,
the release.
Do you find that? Or you'd be straight up?
I don't know.
I would be too if you were there. Yeah, just ignore everything I've said the last 30 seconds.
Any time after any of my wins. Well, I did eventually go to sleep. There's a lie, but no, I'm one of them that
How was your evening? How was your evening after your first win?
My evening after my first win, tremendous. I was in South Africa. It was brilliant. Oh. So literally, went out on a night out and get absolutely and felt like you spent 10 quid.
Well, it doesn't matter when you've just won a massive.
I tell you what, I'm going to throw him under the bus back here somewhere, the old manager. On my third win, was in Portugal, and he's telling me off because I'm dancing on the table in some Irish bar in Portugal.
Hang on, right. At the time, because this is the first time my missus met you, there was a form of drinking. There was a technique of drinking. And I still remember it to this day.
Yeah, it was just, it wasn't really drinking. It was just literally just idiotic behaviour for I think it was 28.
It was called straight arm drinking.
Have you ever tried straight arm drinking?
I've given it a fair crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a little bit. You get about as much as in that glass in a pint.
Yeah.
That was the first time my missus met you.
Really?
Yeah, you were soaked outside the Irish bar.
Great
in
impression.
Portugal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do it with
Literally.
Guinness.
Lads are like, so do straight on drinking. I'm like, yeah, right. Straight on drinking. Just tipping it over you, basically. But yeah, anyway, we're in Portugal on the table. I'm dancing on the tables, having a laugh. I just one, don't care. I'm like, yeah, bam, bam. Anyway, we've got like, I think it's Turkish Airlines the week after. And I think that win actually got me into the top 50 of the world for the first time. So I'm flying. And then we've got them 3 or 4 Rolex events at the end of the year. And I fell off this table and my knee has just gone like this.
Oh, no.
And I'm playing Turkish Airlines next week and I'm like, mate, I can't play. I'm about to pull out.
Oh.
Just couldn't walk. My knee was so big because I fell off this table. Everyone's like,
But I
oh,
won.
did you hurt yourself? And I was just like, we'll just tell them we're tired. Just tell them we're tired.
Oh, that's so good. And like, because Paul, you had that one win, the Naughtier Masters. Like,
Oh, yeah, cheers.
you
You
mean-
rubbed that in the face. You've had that one win. Yeah, keep going. Go on.
Sorry,
Take
that,
yourself out of this hole. Go on.
Better than none.
that,
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
well, it's more wins than me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, that sort of changes my segue a little, but like, what is, like, I always ask people like on the podcast, like, what is success? Because, you know, you look at people like Rory, he's got about 17 of the things.
Yeah.
Well, he does have 17. And it's like, you've got 1, you've got 4, but it's like, for me, I would, you know, I'd class you guys as extremely successful. Like, what is success for you year on year, or what
I
is
think
success for a general golfer? Like,
Yeah, but I think your success changes all the time, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's a development, like your golf game, you're trying to develop it. And, you know, you're building yourself to hit these almost like these steps along the way. And once you've got 1, obviously you want 2. Once you've got 2, you want 3, and then more and more and more. And like Paul said, I think it's more, you know, especially for us two, I mean, you know, we've been out here long enough, we've seen a lot of guys come and go, and it's the consistency is I feel like it's the hardest thing out here, the longevity of it, you know. We've seen friends come and go, and it's not a nice thing, do you know what I mean? It's hard. And we had, like, this year was particularly hard for us because we had Marco at the end there, who's we've took under our wing a little bit. And, you know, watching him in career is probably the nervous I've been for years.
Yeah.
Just in making the cut, I was like, please hold that putt sort of thing. But
Well, he had to hold that putt on Friday, and he still had to hold 4 or 5 foot on Sunday to guarantee it.
Yeah,
Really,
exactly,
didn't he?
yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been a lap
yeah,
of
it
the
looked
gods a little bit.
like a very stressful week.
But like, to be fair, between me and I know it's me and Andy talking on this at the moment, but we've also got Matt Baldwin and Marco Peng, that the 4 of us kind of all hang out together and all that sort of thing. And we had like a little mini order of merit running between the 2 of us, between the 4 of us over the year, just a run of 4 events, trying to stay competitive all the time.
Cool.
But even for Matt was struggling, wasn't he? Matt and Mark were struggling a little bit, and then Matt had a great week at Wentworth, finished 4th, which sorted him out. Like, you know, he had a great week there. To be fair, he actually gave himself a bit of a chance of, well, not winning, but certainly being
come down
involved.
that back 9, he was still there. So it's like,
Yeah.
Which is good for us, because like Matt, I love him to bits, but he just, I don't know, sometimes gets on his own back, doesn't he? And I can say this on the podcast. I hope he listens to it, because he does get on his own back. And then when he believes he can do something, he goes and does it. You know, he's a winner on tour. He knows he can go and do it. And it's trying to get this sort of into Marco now, that you don't need to like live and die by your results. If your golf game's trending in a certain way, just relax, chill, do your work, and your time will come. You'll have that run, whether it be run of 9 holes that you shoot 7 under on, whether it's just a really good, solid few weeks, whatever it is, there'll be a run of golf that turns your season around or elevates you to the next level. There's so many players over the years that you can kind of see, you know, even down to someone like Matt Pavon last year, where he was to where he is now. There'll be, and he'll probably openly say, it'll be finite moments towards the end of that season with his win, his finish in Dunhill, his finish at DP World Tour Finals. You know, those sort of elements have now put him into a position on PGA Tour where he's now gone and won on PGA Tour, and everything's just elevated from a run of a very short amount of time. And it's kind of like having this confidence in your own golf game, I think. And to go back to your question as well, this longevity thing of, well, if I just do what I know works, and it's proven it's worked over the last how many years, if we just stick to that, at some point it will come good. And it's not chasing chasing your tail or anything like that and changing your golf bag or your caddy or your coach or something like that. It's like, no, this is what I do and I'm just going to continue to do it. And I'm waffling.
No, he's right, though,
but you know what I mean, though?
It's easy to come out here from wherever you've been playing Challenge Tour, or you just got your card and tours, to come out here and just change everything completely because you feel like you have to.
Well, no, you see it all the time.
Yeah.
Though. Like lads come through Challenge Tour, come through Q School, and have a set a bag and a caddy or whatever, and then next minute someone's offered them a bit more money to use a totally different golf bag, or a caddy's got an area that needs to change the caddy or something. And then next minute, everything that's got them to this point, they've then completely changed.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the mentality there? You know, you've proved that your system works. You proved it. To get off Challenge Tour, you're a good player. To get through Q School, you're a good player. So just lean on what you believe and carry on with that. Again, just opinion. But
no, I agree.
I've been out here long enough to see lads come and go.
Yeah. Because there are so many little things you can do in golf that can just, the smallest changes, and if you keep adding changes here, there, and everywhere, all of a sudden you've got 3 little changes as one big change.
Yeah.
I'm not saying never change. That's not what I'm trying to say. Is sometimes some things need to change, but there's too many times when you're out here and you just see lads coming out and you're just like, just give it time. Just give it a little bit more time just to keep going what you're going. You're a talented lad. Just keep going. Don't change too much. You're going to be fine. And then you just see everything changing. Like,
yeah.
You just
you can see it coming, can't you? You can see it coming.
Because they just want, it's almost like in their heads, they just want that one thing to go, right, this is going to kickstart my year and everything's going to change. And it just doesn't work like that. There's nothing that's going to change apart from belief and hard work. We know that. It's as simple as that. There's no other recipe for it.
Yeah.
I think Sully just said there, the word belief as well. That's something that I struggled with. I never thought I was actually I thought I had a bit of imposter syndrome, if you like. But again, hanging around with him, and at the time, his belief in himself was so high, it carried him forward because he hasn't got much talent. That sort of thing just kind of made me think, well, if he thinks he's that good, I'm well better than him. We'll be absolutely fine.
I agree. I don't even know why I play practice on him, because I come off and I'm like, wow, why?
Yeah, but then you start putting it, and I'm like, oh god, I'll just carry on yipping it around this hole while you're holding everything. That's good. Perfect.
Well, you mentioned like the imposter syndrome and all that sort of stuff, and golf can be glorious. Golf can have all these wins and there's a bit of money out there, trophies and stuff. But like, what are some of the tougher times that you guys have been through? I know, like, for example, COVID was really tough for you. Like, what are some of the lowest points that golf's got you to? Because, as I said, it's not just a box of fluffy ducks and having a great time on a golf course, is it?
There's an iconic moment for me, and I was sat in a hotel room on my birthday at the Saudi event, having a Pepsi on my own. I was like, this is horrific. I know that sounds mad, but at the time during COVID, having to test if you could leave a place, didn't we? Like, you had to have a test at the time, and if you fail that PCR test, then you're stuck in that country for another 14 days, but not in like the hotel room you're in. You're sent off to a
prison,
your compound or wherever it was, and you kind of have to. It was just that for me was. It sent me on a bit of a spiral, to be honest with you, the whole COVID thing. We've talked about it prior, haven't we, mate?
100%, yeah.
For me, like, I never thought that, you use the word depression and that sort of thing. I never really understood what that was when I was younger, growing up and all that sort of thing. Going through that, I could kind of understand. I had a lot of sympathy for people that do suffer with mental health issues, because I was like, I can totally see it. The world becomes grey where you just don't care about anything, good or bad. It's just there. And I could just see it, and I was feeling it. I was living it. And then from there, for me personally, he dragged me out of it. My friends and family helped drag me out of it. And to the point now where I feel like I feel like I've grown so much in these last 2 years, especially, maybe 3, where I feel, I'm going to use the word bulletproof, just because I kind of know
you've been at rock bottom almost.
Well, I know the keys that put me there. I know the things that added to that and made it difficult, made my life difficult, if you know what I mean. And it's me saying my life difficult. I play golf for money, for crying out loud. It's not like, you know what I mean? We're not.
No, but
we're not on the front line or anything like that. But
it's relevant, though, isn't it?
It is relevant. But it's that sort of thing now is like, I feel like now, like, I know myself more than I've ever known myself, if you know what I mean. That's a bit wishy-washy, really, but you know what I mean.
No, 100%. I get it.
And like, how much like was the depression side of things, or the lowest point, was that because of bad golf results and COVID, or was like that part of it turning your results worse?
Well, no, the thing with it, sorry, was, and this is nothing against the tour, because the tour have been absolutely unbelievable with me, and they've been unbelievable with the rest of the lads. But I felt at times we were being forced to play events that I just didn't want to go. I just didn't want to go and play. I just didn't want to go and play. I wasn't too keen on being vaccinated. I wasn't keen on all these things that I had to go and do. PCR testing every week to go and play golf. So I'd rather just not play golf.
Right.
So then I'm having a conversation with my psychologist, and a great guy actually called Mark Nasty. He helped me through a few bits and bobs where I felt like everything was then out of my control.
Right.
Because I'm being told I've got to do X, Y, and Z to continue my career, if you like. Which again, it's just how I felt at the time. But obviously the tour gave us, a bit of support along the way and that sort of thing. But at the time, you can't see the wood for the trees. You just feel like getting railroaded into these situations that I don't want to go to an airport. I don't want to get on a plane. I don't want to. I was quite happy playing golf, but I just didn't want to travel anywhere. I just didn't. I don't want to be in a bubble. I don't want to be. We had 1 point of contact, didn't we? It was our caddy, and you had to sit 2 meters apart from him. So you couldn't have a conversation with anyone. And as you can probably tell, me and him are really quite sociable people. So sat in a hotel room on my own
gregarious
was not my sort of bag for an 18-month period, 2-year period, whatever it was. And I put my hand in there. It really, really affected me. Really did.
And what about you, Sully? Because we talked about all your successes and your hot streak through 15 and 16.
I'm just going to say, I've said that. He went and won during that period.
Yeah.
I did say... I know, but I like saying I wasn't struggling with that so much. It was just hard. Do you know what I mean? And you didn't know if it was ever going to end. At the time, that's what it felt like. You felt like it was going to be cooped up forever. But it's just one of those things, isn't it? Thank God it ended, and we've come through it this way now. Because, like I said, I don't think I'd have been playing that much longer if that was the case. Because I've had to keep doing that. Because as much as I won and whatever, I wasn't enjoying it. It was hard. So.
It was. But again, I feel like me and you, because of that now, I feel like we're kind of like a bit more grateful for what we've got now.
Definitely.
And that's not just from being able to go out and be social, but from having the freedom to go and practice, play, train, how we want to go and train. And I feel like, especially start of this year, me and you were like, right, come on, mate, let's have it. Let's go.
Definitely.
Let's get at it.
Spurred us on, definitely, from that point.
And I think this winter, again, after these few weeks are out of the way, it's going to be the same thing again, where we're going to go, right, come on, right, we've done that. Let's go here. Let's go do this. Let's go and...
Yeah, nice.
The oldies and the boldies are coming back.
Oh, we baby. Oh, we baby.
And Sully, like, what about for you as well? I guess, like, when you guys are traveling so much, we don't see the other side of things where you're not seeing your family, where you're not seeing your friends. Like, what are some of the other hurdles that you've had to challenge, because things at home aren't always as easy as it seems, because you're out here trying to earn a living, you're out here trying to get a tour card?
No, 100%. I mean, look, I've got 4 children, so it's difficult being away from them. And but same as Paul, I think if you're out here long enough, you're gonna have a low point. There's no doubt about it. It's how you come through it. And mine was probably, a couple of years ago, splitting up with my wife and stuff. And I didn't think I didn't think it affected me like on the golf course. I thought it was absolutely fine. I didn't think I was, not that I wasn't bothered, but I was thinking that's not going to affect my golf or anything like that. But then you find yourself in a position where you've got 4 events left and you're like sitting 130th on the order merit, thinking, oh, I'm going to lose my job here as well. And it's quite scary, and you're just thinking, you just got to get your head down and try and do it. But
just sorry to cut you up, but on that, knowing you, me and Al, my caddy, and a couple of other lads, we knew you'd be absolutely fine. I know that sounds mad, but it doesn't matter how you were playing, you just knew you'd get the job done. You just knew it. It was inevitable.
I wasn't thinking that, by the way.
But go on, what was your finish?
He's had a breakup. He's on the edge of the cut line here.
You talk about that. What was your finish at the end of the year, though, in the last 4 events?
Oh, no, I did well at Valderrama and Mallorca. Finished like 5th and 8th or something there. And
so they're all done it, 2 top 10s in the last 4 to box your card.
But then it's the same, like, it's all comparative. And, some things affect more than others, and I just felt a bit not lonely, but it was hard coming home, and just the simple things of waking up and seeing my kids in the morning, just wasn't having that as much. So I think look back now, it was just the simplistic of things of not seeing my children as much, not being able to just drop them off at school when I wanted, pick them up from school when I wanted, having that time with them that I wanted more than anything else. And that's just as time goes on, obviously you get better with dealing with that, and you get used to a different way of life. But that went for 2 years for me, and it was a little bit of a struggle. But I wouldn't say it was like I don't feel like I was mentally struggling. It was just more the missing of my children and the normality I had, and how much I loved my little family at home.
Yeah.
But again, like I say, life moves on, you change, and my mates and that, my little group that we have, like say Marco, Matt, and that, they're fucking brilliant. They get me through everything, and you get stronger and stronger, and you move on.
At the fear of sounding like a gossip podcast, but like we don't talk about like relationships and like love and all that sort of stuff. But like, how hard is it to maintain a healthy relationship at home? Because
I think you're asking the wrong person. Well, I'm divorced. I mean, I would say impossible.
Well, yeah. It sounds like I'm asking the right guy.
Maybe that's just me. I'm just saying.
But like, it is tough. Like you're traveling so much, and at the end of the day, like it's all well and good bringing with you, but like how hard is it?
But like on that, unless your partner completely understands, you've got no chance.
Yeah.
Because like you say, you've played 29 weeks this year. I played 24, 25. It's 52 weeks in the year. That's 6 months away.
Yeah. Wow.
And if your missus has got a career herself or something, then you're just not going to see each other, or they come every single week with the family. But then I don't know, you see it sometimes. Again, I'm talking about other lads here all the time, but like you see like then that part of the life taking over from the performance side of things as well. It's the balance between the two things.
It's quite expensive to travel family around the world.
Oh,
right?
it must cost a fortune.
Look, getting the balance right is so hard, and people that do it is commendable to them. It's not just obviously what we do, and obviously the wives are some of you've got to be so tolerant with us. Do you know what I mean? Because it is, they think they're coming here on a holiday, and you're coming back and you've had a shit down the golf course, and steam's coming out of your ears like a kettle, and you're thinking, should we go and lay on by the beach? I'm like, the last thing I want to do is lie by the beach. Do you know what I mean? Like, your head's gone, and you're thinking, let's go lie by the beach. You're thinking,
or you get it. It's all right, love. This cost us 50 grand. Don't worry about
exactly.
it. Like you didn't see that 4-footer.
Yeah.
But but like, I don't know, like, because at the end of the day, golf is a very selfish sport, isn't it? It is individual as hell. Like, it's like you've got to get it done. You've got to do this, and then all of a sudden, family comes around, and it is all about your schedule, your thing. I'm here, I'm there, and it's not a short sport. It's not 90 minutes of football.
No, 100%. But also, I just try and think of it as like, if I can take care of the things I can take care of, then everything else is going to be good, isn't it? Because of the benefits from that.
I actually think of this like my mates who play golf at the golf club and stuff with the young family, 30-year-old lads, a couple of young kids, whatever. And then Saturday rolls around, they work a 9 to 5, and then Saturday rolls around, it's right, I'm just off to play golf with the lads. So it's like, the weekend's here, and like you say, you need coffee beforehand, you need bit of warm up, 5 hours on the golf course, beer afterwards. All of a sudden, you're out there for 8 hours away from the family. Yeah. I'm like, lads, how are you doing this? And if any of the wives are watching it, it's actually 12 hours and they're just cutting it short.
They've only played 9 holes.
Yeah, they would just get back. Sorry, it's 8 hours just for 9 holes. It's just 8 hours for 9 holes, yeah.
All right, well, let's go back to, I guess, some of the fun times. Sully, I want to bring in your hot streak again, and I want to talk some Ryder Cup magic, because 2015 was a great year, and then 2016, like, what are some of your fondest memories of being involved in the Ryder Cup and getting to that stage? And
I mean, I look back now, it's unbelievable, and like every one you miss, you're like completely gutted, because you know exactly what that entails, and it is just the best week of your life, the best weeks of your life. It is absolutely amazing. Not even just playing the actual days or anything like that. The whole build up to it, everything is phenomenal. And like the lads that I play with, I mean, the guys that was in my team at the time, I had Stenson, Sergio, we had Westwood, Pulse was in the team room. It was unbelievable. Rory, obviously. And again, fortunate enough to partner Rory. For me, he's, one of the best players that's going to play the game in my generation. Was unbelievable. But they were unbelievable. But they also wound me up so much that week. It was...
How do you mean? Like,
so
angry wound up?
It's got to be the story.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's like, from the moment I got landed the plane into Hazeltine, they were completely at me from about, literally, as soon as I got off the plane, it was like, right, so just to let you know, 2 years ago, it's a lad, couldn't get the ball on the tee. His hand was shaking that much when he was hitting the first tee shot. The ball falls off the tee. And I'm like, this is like Sunday night. I'm like, yeah, great, whatever, bothered. Anyway, playing Monday. I think we're playing with Rosie and Stenson. Rose comes, puts his arm around me. Stenson just gets in my ear, says the same thing. Oh, like, I couldn't get the ball on the tee this year. I'm thinking, what are they trying to do here? Like, they're having me on here or what? And it was sort of getting to me a little bit. And then same thing the day after, Westwood's in my ear, saying the same thing. God, mate, lad couldn't get the ball on the tee last year. I'm thinking, this is the last thing I need right now. I've got bigger problems at the moment. Yeah. Anyway, get to the Friday morning. Obviously, knew I was playing with Rory. Have the warm-up. I'm not going to lie, it's one of the best warm-ups I've ever had in my life. I was just like that. And you just buzz in, you're thinking,
so good on the
cannot
range.
wait to get out. Yeah, I cannot wait to get out there because I'm swinging it so good. I'm like, thinking, right, Ricky and Phil are getting
What a peer to play as well.
I'm like, they're having it. Anyway, we're walking to the tee, and it's like about 150 yard walk from the range to the tee. We walked up with Rory, and just before we get into the steps, he's gone, hey, remember that lad that couldn't tee it up last year? Well, at that point, I felt like I might as well not have bothered having a warm-up. I might as well have had 50 beers the night before because I am absolutely myself. There is no other word for it. I am papping it. I am gone from here to the floor. I've just gone, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to get the ball in the tee. Well, this is going to be horrendous. And obviously, anyone that's watched Ryder Cup, it takes forever to get to the point of pegging it up. It was probably like 15 minutes. It felt like a day. It was so... Oh, yeah, national anthem's going. You're standing there. And he's standing there, national anthem's going on, and all I'm thinking about is getting the ball pegged on the tee. And
it sounds like you need a mental skills coach in that Ryder Cup setup.
Honestly.
What's going on here?
And then I'm on the... And literally, you're like there, and all the Yanks are just shouting at you, going, don't be nervous. I'm thinking, radio, son, I'm absolutely gone here. Anyway, it comes to the tee. On the tee for your episode, you're Andy Sullivan. And I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Please go on the tee, 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 please go on the tee. Just go on the tee. Boom, we're in. I was
and you're back.
I'm absolutely fine after that. And then just striked it down the middle. I don't know if it was a ploy from them to take my mind off hitting the first tee shot. And the thing that I never asked them that I should have asked was, what if I didn't get the ball on the tee? Do you know what I mean?
It's off the deck.
You know what I mean?
It's off the deck.
What are we going to do then, lads? Like, sorry.
Rory would have just walked off.
No, would have had to go. Rory, sorry, mate, we've got to change the order. You're going to have to hit now.
Yeah.
I'm gone. Go on then, sub. Bring the sub.
Well, and then from there you went to the singles against, from what I hear, a very good friend of yours, Brant Snedeker as well.
Oh, she gets better and better.
This one might not make the edit.
Oh, this is brilliant.
You know what? On this,
your manager's not here.
Perfect. Right, this is going.
Just on this, I am absolutely gutted. I wasn't there to actually witness this. I'd left.
You can visualize
before this happened.
So you were there
I know
that
exactly what's coming.
This is when I was sort of in my prime Sully idiot state after a few beers, and this story just epitomises it. I mean, to make yourself look like a complete idiot over a long period of time as well. This went over. So played the Scottish Open the week before
And we're talking about, the new vice captain of the Ryder Cup team here as well.
Oh, my God, yeah. So I played Scottish Open the week before the Open. It's my first Open, playing at St Andrews 2015.
Great first Open.
Yeah, amazing, right? But I've played quite a few on the run-up to that point, and I was like, I'm knackered. I'm going to have the Monday off. And my caddy was like, okay. Knowing what I'm like, he knows what I'm going to be doing Sunday night, which is getting absolutely mortaled.
The week of the Open.
Yeah, but you need a break.
Well, there's having a break and then there's a major shit, but we won't go into that.
I played all right that week anyway. Well, that doesn't matter. The story's way better than that.
We digress.
Anyway, so I've gone out, ended up getting there a little bit earlier than wanted to, got a little bit drunk a little bit earlier than I wanted to. In a certain bar in St Andrews, I'm to the state of I'm on the bar. This bar's quite long. It's probably like a 60-yard bar around the corner, like an L shape. On the bar, necking Jaeger, just shouting out God knows what. Anyway, walks through the door. Future vice captain. Branch Snedeker.
And you're in full geezer mode here.
I'm just, to be honest,
holding ceremony. He's holding course, is what I'd say. He's in the bar.
I have done well to know who Branch Snedeker was walking through that door. I'm in that much of a bad state. Anyway, see him come through the door, and I have no idea, still to this day, what has come over me. I've gone over to him and just gone, Brant, you are and I'm just like...
Statistically way better at golf than
you're just And then his caddy at the time, Scotty Vale's just giving me back and forth. He's like, Sully, you couldn't even hold the book for this guy. And it's just like a bit of back and forth. Anyway, he's walked out the bar. I'm still going. Standard. He's walking down the street and I'm just singing, you're and you know you are. Anyway, it
is a harsh welcome to the pub.
Oh my God, yeah. And I can't really recall all this happening tonight, but someone did remind me on the Monday, which, beer fear, mate, my anxiety was through the roof on Monday. I was like, oh no. Anyway, Tuesday morning comes. Luckily, I say luckily, it was quite embarrassing. Brant's on the range on the Tuesday morning. As I've walked on, I thought, right, come on. Mate, I'm really sorry about last Sunday night. I don't know what came over me. I'm so sorry. He was so cool about it. He's like, mate, don't worry about it. We all have a drink now and again. Don't worry, man. It's all cool. Nice. I was like, oh, cheers, mate. Legend. Actually a top bloke. Anyway, fast forward to 8 months later. April, World Match Play, groups coming out. I'm like, boom, here we got Branch Snedeker's in there. Brilliant. I'm thinking, yeah, brilliant. Here we go. Beats me 2-1.
Get that up yet.
1-0 Brant. 6 months further on, Ryder Cup singles. Draw comes out. Branch Snedeker. Beats me 2-1. Cheers, Brant. And that is a lesson in humility.
He is just haunting you. Imagine that bit between his teeth. He's probably playing you going,
oh, yeah. They've literally in the team room gone, Brant, we've got it for you. Don't worry about it. We know how to get him. He's got his kryptonite here. We've got it for you.
Oh, that is so good.
I mean, great for everybody else. I look like a complete idiot, which is, pretty
half of the course.
Yeah.
And again, that's why we're friends.
Cheers. Thanks, Brant. Enjoy.
What about at like the start of your career? Were you like your first Open? Am I right in saying you were like living out of a camper van?
Oh no, well, I wasn't living out of a camper van, but I qualified late, and there was there's absolutely no accommodation, so we ended up getting a static caravan for the week up in Carnoustie. Actually, that's actually quite a good story. I'd never played a professional golf tournament in my life. I was still an amateur at the time. It was back in 2007, qualified for the Open. And I've played practice rounds, and I knew Rory quite well back in those days. I don't see that much of him now because obviously he's in America, but we ended up playing practice round together in Carnoustie. And I remember one day it was me, him, and Trevor Immelman. And so there's a couple of bit of crowds around us watching us for practice days and all that sort of thing. So I'm 22. I've never played a pro tournament in my life. And obviously when I qualified for the Open, I actually phoned my coach and went, what on God's green earth have I actually done here? I'm playing in this. I am not ready for this. Anyway, gets to Thursday. I've got Aaron Badley, Ben Curtis. I've got VJ in front of me, Phil Mickelson behind me. I'm off the first tee, and Tiger's just finishing on 18. The size of the crowds around this first tee is insane. And I am absolutely, you talk about you at Ryder Cup trying to get a ball on the tee. I feel like, and I've used this before, I felt like I'd just done a skydive, landed on the first tee, and was expected to hit a golf shot. I had that much adrenaline in me. Now, I still to this day remember standing on that first tee and just thinking, clear the ditch. Where's the ditch on the first tee?
By the green.
There's 150 yards off the tee. You've never looked at it.
You really are in bad state.
You have never looked at it in your life. Believe me, that was just screaming at me. Just don't top it into that. That's all I
can
needed
see it
to
down
go
the
do.
left quite a lot.
Anyway, I actually hit a half decent shot, but I've got a few mates sort of walking around me, and I actually played all right. I think I shot 74 or 75. So obviously, nerves got the better of me, and the lads have gone, oh, he's got a chance of making the cut here. I didn't. I'd missed it by miles on a Friday, but they thought it'd be a good idea to all sleep in a big pickup truck that they'd driven up. So they're all clattered. They've all been on it, been fully at it for, a good couple of days. So anyway, it rolls round onto Friday morning, and this lot are in the same clothes, still can't see. They stink. It's just disgusting. Anyway, at the time, I was introduced to Bernard Gallagher like a few months prior, and he was really good with me. He invited me down to Wentworth. Went down to Wentworth, played down there with a couple of lads, and he was just great with me, sort of starting my career. And I finished off 18 on the Friday, and I was just kind of walked off, and he was just stood there, and I was like, oh, better know. He's asking me about my experience, did I enjoy it, and everything else that goes. But I said, yeah, no, I've had a great time, obviously a bit disappointed to play how I played today, blah, blah, blah. And in the background, because I'm facing him, I can see one of my mates, and this mate is my now caddy, Alex Evans. Obviously, Al's good friend of yours as well, and he's always with us. He's just a good lad, and I can just see him sort of staggering up, sort of like to come and say hello. And he's got a beer in his hand, and I know he's absolutely gone, like can't see. Anyway, he walks up and he stands kind of like between me and Bernard Gallagher, and he's stood there. He's a bit drunk, and he looks at me, and goes, "Hi, mate." Looks at Bernard Gallagher, kind of recognises this person that I'm speaking to. Looks back at me, looks back at Bernard Gallagher, and goes, "What the hell? It's Tony Jacklin." So I've gone, just put my arm around, right? Come on, mate. We need to get you back to the bar. Come on. I just literally walked him off. I was like, thanks, mate. That's brilliant.
I can't wait to see him tonight because that's brilliant.
He just, he recognised someone, but just hasn't got a clue who was actually just
got it completely wrong.
Yeah, exactly brilliant. Exactly that.
That's great stuff. And boys, I guess just to sort of slowly round things off and maybe we should talk about golf a little bit on a golf podcast.
Nah, that's boring. We do that every day. Go on.
You've had a good year this year. What does it look like for you guys in terms of 2025 and beyond? Let's say for the rest of your careers. What is a really satisfying, if you look back at your career in 10 years' time, for the next chapter, like what's going to complete your career? What is something that you need to do, something that you want to do to complete, to round off things, and you can sit back, relax, and have a few drinks and go, you know what, I've had a bloody good time and I've done bloody well. What's a few things that you might need to check off before then?
It's like, it's like anyone says, oh, the first win's the hardest. I just think the next one's the hardest.
Yeah.
It's not anything like that, and, obviously getting in the majors is massive, getting back in there. It's become, a lot harder for us to do that with the world ranking points as the way they are for the DP World guys. But yeah, for me, stick to what I'm doing, the processes that I'm doing. Keep trying to beat this lad. That's the biggest thing. Me and him are super competitive with each other, but for me, just keep pushing myself and keep doing the things I'm doing. Like I said, I feel like this year my motivation's come back to come and practice and work hard at the game again, which for a few years it wasn't there. So for me, as long as that stays there, you know, I feel like I can still go out there and achieve what I want to achieve.
Paul?
I think he's hit the nail on the head there, really. For me, it would be to go and be a multiple winner on tour. I've only won once. It'd be lovely to go and do it again. I know I'm getting older, if you like, but I still feel like I'm strong. I still feel like I've still got the speeds, and I feel like I'm a better golfer than I ever have been, really. For me, I'd really like to push myself and try and get one of those 10 cards as well. Try and get over there on PGA Tour for a few years, see what that's about, really. I enjoyed playing those couple of events this year in Kentucky and in Tahoe as well. It was the first time I've actually played anything on the PGA Tour, really. I played a couple of US Opens, but the first time playing PGA Tour events, and I think I'd like to be able to say that, you know, I've gone and competed a little bit on PGA Tour. I think that's one of the big things for me, but that's going to come from, as Sully's just said, those sort of day-to-day habits, that competitiveness, that amount of hard work, practice, and obviously, as I've just said prior, if I can go and win again, that's going to give me a massive step up to achieving that, really.
To get a little bit like slightly golf nerdy on it, like you mentioned improvement, you mentioned winning, you mentioned going, what, like, you guys have worked on every part of your game. You analyse it to every degree, every, you know, bit of club speed. Like, what are some of the things that you guys work on all the time to get that? Like, it's not even 1% better, is it? Like, every part of your game. Like, how do you keep finding things to work on, and how do you change it, or how do you actually get like 0.5% better?
Is the biggest thing. You don't need to change it. That's the thing. It's just get better at what you're doing. I've gone through a couple of times where, you know, I've tried to come away from hitting a fade from the ball, and I've got to go back because I don't have the controller to do.
Yeah, I watched you on the range today.
Yeah,
fade.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, be good at what you're good at. Understand your golf game. You don't need to develop it. Yes, get better at everything and try and be better, like gain them little bits of it, but understand your golf game and develop it around, like, my golf game is built around control and being great on the greens. You know, that's what I'm about. I'm not a guy that's going to go out there and dominate a course by length. No. That's not what my games are built about. I'm about fairways and greens, giving myself as many chances as possible to make birdie. And basically, you rein that back and go, right, well, how am I going to get better at doing that then? And that's where you start your process from, where Paul is, again, tee to green, is an unbelievable ball striker, hits it a long way. Again, can dominate a course tee to green. Where'd you go from there?
Yeah, mine and your games are actually very, very different, actually, considering like how close we are as mates and everything like that. Our golf games are so far apart. Like, I've got glaring weaknesses in my game, if you like. Like, for this year, to be fair, I think I'm just gaining on the greens.
What is the biggest weakness?
Yeah, well, putter's the big thing for me, really. And for the first half of the year, it's been really good. These last 4 months, it's gone off a little bit. But over the course of the year, I'm still gaining for the year, which is massive. So the week I won, I think I gained 12 shots on the green. So that was the difference. If I have my week with a putter, I'll go really close. I think I'm 15th or something in approach play across the whole season. So the golf game, swinging a golf club, I can do that. That's absolutely fine. And I think I'm actually losing in short game, which, considering how good my bunker play is, it shows how poor, if you like, the rest of the short game chipping inside sort of 30 yards is. So I'm going to say 2 glaring weaknesses that I know are weaknesses, and I can do something about it. So, as Sully said, I'm not going to go and change everything I do, but all I've got to do is just put a bit more time and effort into these couple of areas and just manage my time better. So maybe if I've only got 4 hours, then maybe I just take 30 minutes out from hitting balls and put it into this area, or take 20 minutes out of that area and put it into this area for a period of time and see how that does. But again, you've still got to manage. You can't just turn weaknesses into strengths. You've got to keep the strengths as good as they are. They have got to stay as good as they can be.
In that perspective, I think you've got to be your biggest critic and your biggest fan at the same time with things like that, and praise yourself when you do well. You know, make sure you give yourself the credit you're due, and then when you're not doing things well, you need to get on yourself a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And that's where, you know, some people, you know, are not great at being honest at praising their own game, where sometimes you need to be, you know, I have done this well. I have done this well. No, it hasn't gone well this week, but I have done things this well. Or I know I've not done that well. And you've got to be honest with yourself, because the moment you're not, the only thing you're doing is delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
For the hackers out there listening, the high handicappers, is there any, I'm scared to ask this on the eve of a big championship, but is there any shots where you just kind of crap yourself? You're like, this is not my shot, or this is not my, like, I hate this position. Or like, is there, because you guys are the best in the world, like, there's not many of them, but is there ever sort of scenarios where you're like,
there will be shots that you just don't fancy. There always will be. And what you've got to do in that situation is not make bogey. That's it.
Yeah.
If you don't fancy it,
or just not make,
just
it's
don't
not
make
even
a
necessarily
mistake.
making bogey. It's just don't make a massive error.
Yeah.
If you're going to, just make sure it's a little mistake.
Yeah.
They might be going into the green, I don't fancy this, or,
Ball below
miss
your
the green
feet,
on the right side,
water
or
down
just
left,
hit it
on the left.
hit it a long way away, or
Yeah.
there's a chip I don't fancy, hit it to 12 feet and just try and hit it stiff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't try and play the worldie that could cost you a couple of shots where it's only going to cost you one. It's, as much as, everyone loves to see on your socials and on the TV and what you play a worldie, sometimes when you just haven't got that shot, it might be it can be 1 week to the next. The next week you might fancy that shot, but it's just at that time.
The thing is, the world that you see on TV is normally from like the leading pack anyway. So the guys that are playing well, you don't see you see the odd worldie from someone trying to make a cut or something, but the stuff you see on TV are the guys playing really well and they are confident in their golf game that week. So they're going to hit driver off the deck over the water to a tight pin from 270 into a left to right win because they feel like they can.
Yeah.
The guys who are in around the cut ain't hitting that shot. Believe me, they ain't hitting that shot unless the two outside of it need to make eagle. Yeah. It's kind of like taking the situation into account as well, and also being brutally honest with yourself. And this is what your caddy's for half the time, of going, you're actually playing today.
Yeah.
That's how about just 40 yards, just 40 yards down the right, use it.
Yeah. How do we not play completely?
Yeah. That's it.
Because there's so many golfers out there, amateur golfers, where it's like, if they just spent a little bit of time on course management and those little things, as you say, it's like, hey, there's a trick.
How many times you play with an amateur and go, I seen Rory do this the other day, watch this?
Yeah. There's definitely times where I'm like analysing
and
you guys going,
I can
do
your reply should be, well, you don't have a Northern Irish accent for a start and you have a little bit of a loft problem.
You know what loft stands for, right? If someone's got a loft issue, so it's a common thing. If someone has a loft issue, so I could say to you, we go out and go, "What's your problem?" I say, "Well, look, mate, if you're really struggling, you've definitely got a loft issue."
I've got a lot of issues. But
yeah, so a loft issue actually stands for a lack of talent.
Yeah. Nice. I like that.
So if anyone at home ever hears a pro say to them, if
I can send that to a lot of mates.
Yeah. If anyone at home ever hears a pro tell them they've got a loft issue, now you know it's because you've actually got a lack of talent. All right.
That's so brutal, isn't it?
Yeah, well, clearly because I didn't know that. I mustn't be in it. Oh, good. I've really enjoyed sitting down with you boys. It's great to see. What is really important is friendships on tour, and we mentioned about how much you travel. So it's actually nice to sit here and talk through like what you guys go through and how much time you spend together. So thanks very much for that. And I guess hopefully people listening and people watching and can see that now when you do pop up on telly playing those worldies and doing your part. It's like it's part of such a big story, isn't it? So I personally am excited to follow the journey even further, and I hope 2025 goes bloody well.
So do we. So do we. Yeah. But no, thanks for having us on. It's been absolutely wonderful speaking to you.
Well, we could actually...
And reminiscing in the way that we've gone about things over the years.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of 2025, you're sitting next to each other. Should we put some sort of wager on next year's
we're all for that.
Don't worry about that. We'll be taking care of that. Don't worry. Yeah, don't you worry. This year's wager's still pending.
It's close.
Well, everyone's like, oh, you're excited to get into next week. You know, excited to get... I'm 48th on the money unless you're 50th. I literally... Don't get me wrong. Of course, I'd love to play next week. I do not care about next week. All I care about is beating him. That's all I care about. That's all I care about.
It's literally that. If you get T20 and he's T40, like how... Like,
I'll tell you what happens all the time. I'll tell you what happens all the time as well is when we're on the opposite sides of the draw, and one guy's name goes on the leaderboard and you're not, you're like, right, come on. So you could turn to your caddy and go, right, come on. We need to pull a finger out here because he's flying and we need to get up there ASAP.
Nice. Oh, well, I'm sure everyone will be tuning into leaderboards for the next few years to come. So, cheers, boys. Hope you enjoyed a couple of whiskies, and thanks to Buffalo Trace for having us here. It's been great.
Wonderful.
Cheers.
Thanks again.
To watch another DP World Tour video, click here, and to subscribe, click here.